Well, howdy there, Bronco fans. This is Shad. You're watching Bronco Planet, and we have a special edition Bronco Planet called Bronco Headlines. And with us, we're at the studios of ESPN Denver, Cecil Lammey. Thanks for letting us come to your home here, Cecil.
Well, thanks. It's a jam-packed week with a short week, but it's always good to talk some Broncos.
All right, we're going to go right to the headlines. We're going to talk about 5 of them today. First one, obviously, we got to talk Peyton Manning. Cecil, if we look back the last 5 games of last season, Peyton Manning with a 79% quarterback rating, 6 interceptions, 4 touchdowns. We think, well, maybe he's banged up. We wait till the preseason. We hear about his workout regimen. He's doing great. Comes in, no scores in preseason, and then, to be honest, not a great performance out of the gate in game 1. What's your thoughts on Peyton Manning, and is he the Tiger Woods of football now?
Well, I think that Peyton Manning, now is healthy. Last year, we know, pretty much after the Rams game, he got beat up in that Rams game, had the quad injury in the Chargers game, and that's why we saw the decline in his performance last season. We saw the emergence of C.J. Anderson. This year, he is healthy, but this system, this Kubiak system, true to form, is a bit difficult for Manning to run right now. I am hopeful that with more time and with more games, you're going to see him become more comfortable working from under center again, using play-action passing, and really kind of leaning on that ground game early. It's one of the things from the Ravens game I thought, I wanted to see that Kubiak offense really unveiled. We saw it in the fourth quarter on the 11-minute drive. It was like 17 plays or whatever. We saw that's the true Kubiak offense. If they can start that early, and if Manning can learn to trust in that offense early, I think we'll see better results.
All right, we're going to our second headline now. We're going to talk about the defense. If you rolled out this morning, I used to be able to say you roll out, put your coffee on the pot there, and you go out and get your newspaper, but that doesn't happen anymore. People run into Starbucks, you get your iPad out, you get your smartphone, you read the newspaper, you find your Denver Broncos as the top-rated defense after week 1 in the NFL. What do you think about what Wade Phillips has done with this team?
That's the biggest difference for this team. I think some Broncos fans will be like, what happened to the offense? No. Look at what this defense is. With Jack Del Rio running a very vanilla scheme, didn't really unleash these assets that are now more plentiful this year with Wade Phillips. You got Shaq Barrett making plays. You got Shane Ray, who I had graded as a top 10 pick. Now he's out there as a part-time guy, keeping DeMarcus Ware fresh, and Von Miller. Really, I believe that this year Von Miller could get 20 sacks. I used to say 15 to 20, and then after seeing him every day in training camp in the preseason, it's 20, and it may be more than that. So this defense is really special, and as Aqib Talib said after the Ravens game, this is a cornerback's dream come true because your receivers can't juke at the line of scrimmage. They have to get in their routes quickly because that pressure is getting a quarterback. A quarterback's going to make some bad decisions. We give a lot of credit to Joe Flacco for showing that cool under fire demeanor that he's always had as a pro. But the Broncos brought the heat all day. You look coming up on Thursday night, that Alex Smith game. I mean, they're going to bring the heat every single week, and that's really the identity of this team. It's the Broncos' defense being back, and Peyton Manning is their quarterback.
Now, Bronco fans couldn't help but be a little nervous. It's late in a Ravens game. They're moving down the field, but this time, a different number 26 ends up with a different result. What do you think about how Darian Stewart helps this team and why he's different than Raheem Moore?
Well, I think we all need to be talking more about Darian Stewart, a lot more about Darian Stewart in this game, showing how rangy that he is. He was that way at South Carolina, kind of the guy that can patrol from sideline to sideline, but unlike Raheem Moore, he's not afraid of contact. He's not afraid to get his nose dirty. He's not afraid to play close to the line of scrimmage and support the run. He's a physical player, an aggressive player. We saw that on that last interception. I mean, really, in my opinion, it's a mistake that Baltimore let him go. Their secondary's in shambles now. They got a couple assets if Webb and Jimmy Smith are healthy, but Darian Stewart was a real playmaker for them last year, 14-game starter. Broncos scoop him up for a song. So, Raheem Moore, I hope you enjoy Houston. The Broncos have a real free safety right now.
All right, next we're talking about coaches. The Broncos have done a good job of supplying the rest of the NFL with some coaches. Let's talk about some debuts that didn't go so well. John Fox had a tough matchup going against Green Bay. We saw our man Jack Del Rio getting his butt kicked in Oakland, and then Mike McCoy, taking those Chargers for another win. What compared to the current Bronco coaches, give us a little summary, because you get to hang around with these guys more than most people.
Right.
Sum up the Bronco coaches, what you like about them, and who's who's great and who do you think is going to have the most potential long term?
Well, John Fox needs to get rid of Jay Cutler, first and foremost. When Chicago turns it around eventually, and I feel that Fox can turn it around. He can make him a double-digit win team once Cutler's gone. So I don't know what that answer is. Draft Dak Prescott if you're the Bears, because you're going to be among the worst teams in the NFL. Going to be a rough year this year for Chicago. Then I look at Oakland. We had thought, okay, Derek Carr's going to be the guy. Looks like a nice young quarterback. Then he gets injured. That creates problems for that Oakland team. I think their defense is getting on the right track. But again, with Del Rio, we know it'll be kind of vanilla offensively and defensively. And then McCoy, this is the real issue. I often call Kansas City a fraud on my radio show. Kansas City fans don't like me. That's fine. KC fans, you'll be all right. You got great barbecue and a bad quarterback. Because at the end of the day, it comes back to Alex Smith. Like, Kansas City has a great defense, great ground game. They got Jeremy Maclin. They got Travis Kelce at tight end. And they still have a quarterback who's not bold or courageous. I believe the real thorn in the side is San Diego, though. And we saw that against a good Detroit team who got a lead. Phillip Rivers loved it. He wanted to make that comeback. He did in week 1. And San Diego is the true team that can be the thorn in the side for the Denver Broncos this year.
Next up, will the real Brandon McManus please stand up? So if you think back to last year, we're playing the Dolphins. We see a missed field goal. You see Manny Ramirez shaking his helmet. You see DT throws it on the ground. Fast forward a little bit to the preseason game, last preseason game. We have a missed opportunity to win the game. And then you start off week 1, one of only 4 kickers in the NFL to get 4 field goals, the 2 longest at 57 and 56. I don't know. He's like the new Trendon Holiday for me. I don't know whether to get excited or scared every time he's on the field. What are your thoughts on Brandon McManus?
Well, I think you should get excited about Brandon McManus, and I'll be honest, I usually don't talk about kickers because they're kind of an afterthought to me, but what McManus has done, and again, back to the new look, this is the new reality for the Denver Broncos. They're going to play great defense, they're going to play field position, and they're going to kick field goals. Okay, those touchdowns, 55 touchdowns, listen, 2013 was special. It was a special season to cover. You don't ever see 600 points. We saw that. That's long gone. So you're going to see a lot from the kicker, Brandon McManus, and what you hope for is that this gain of confidence in him. It's the C word that I always talk about with any football player, any position, even kickers. Once you feel good about yourself, once you've hit some, big field goals, made some big plays, that'll help you perform better in the future and going forward. So I think you should be excited by McManus, and he's certainly going to get used maybe more than some people think.
Couldn't be with the not only the greatest sports announcer here in Denver, Colorado, but this guy knows fantasy better than anybody that's out there. And the Game Day Decisions show that you have on, I literally, and I'm not exaggerating because I'm here, I will get in the car, I will drive out to Elizabeth, I'll go see my buddy in Monument so I can get in the car, because it's weird for me to watch, to sit in the house and listen to radio. It's just not right for me. So I got to be in the car, I got to be out driving around, and I love this show. I love the feedback you give people. Without a doubt, the best fantasy show on there. So we had some duds in week 1.
Oh, yes, we did.
So Peyton Manning, a couple of Broncos leading that way. Peyton Manning expected to get 19 points. I think got 5. CJ Anderson looked a little bit slow and was expected to get 13, got 4. We got Frank Gore, Sammy Watkins, Adrian Peterson, Greg Olsen, Megatron. My whole team is blowing up, Cecil. I need some help.
Is that all your team?
Well,
that was all your team.
Some of those. And AJ Green was on my team. Didn't do very well either. So.
Right.
What advice do you have for us frustrated, new season, you've been waiting this time, and out of the gate, some turds right out of the gate?
Well, and here's the thing. Do not overreact to what you saw in week 1. Now, there is a certain narrative with the Denver Broncos. We've been talking about the new reality of the Broncos is not to use a lot of Peyton Manning, so I hope you have a nice backup. Because to me, Peyton Manning now is a low-end quarterback 1. That's where he always was. He might actually be lower than that. I would start a guy like Tyrod Taylor this week over Peyton Manning. That's kind of where we're at with Manning. Until we see something different, until we see more comfort in the offense, that's where we'll be. CJ Anderson, banged up, hurt, had a toe and an ankle injury that we're hoping is not turf toe because that could linger the rest of the season. So if he's healthy, we know that Kubiak wants a bell cow. He wants the lead guy. You're going to use CJ Anderson as that running back 1. Now with the injury, don't know if he'll play Thursday, but you're considering him more as a running back too. But you're not jumping I've had questions on Twitter like, do I dump C.J. Anderson? No, don't overreact. Also to the players that did great at Carlos Hyde on Monday night. You know, you mentioned Frank Gore flopping with Indy. They had that tough matchup against Buffalo, and then we saw Carlos Hyde go off for about $170 and a couple of touchdowns. Here's what I do in that situation. I sell high. I sell high on a Carlos Hyde because he's not going to do that again. So that's what you're looking for in fantasy. With Sammy Watkins and Tyrod Taylor, as we'd mentioned, it's going to be different. Sammy's going to get the best coverage, and Tyrod Taylor's not a developed passer. So you're going to adjust your expectations, not sell the farm and not go overboard by what we saw in week 1. But we're looking and we're listening for drum beats. What's the consistent drum beat with these players? With a Manning, what I've been reporting out at Broncos camp is he's not going to throw a lot. This isn't a quarterback one. This isn't a set it and forget it top 5 fantasy quarterback like we've always expected. So that drumbeat continued in week 1. We did have some surprises, but you want to make sure not to overreact to those surprises.
So Cecil, tell the fans out there where they can catch you, because you're all over the place.
Well, I appreciate everyone for following me on Twitter at Cecil Lammey, for friending me on Facebook. It's Cecil Lammey. For listening to my show, the popularity of this show, Monday through Friday, 1 to 3. It is the Cecil Lammey Show on 105.5 ESPN. You can listen online, ESPNDenver.com, and also via the ESPN radio app. Like, the way the show has grown, it's been fantastic. I appreciate everyone for listening out there.
Well, there you have it. Thanks for all your time, Cecil, and have a fantastic day. Go Broncos.